for joining me on Fascinating Frontiers, episode 124. It's July 7th, 2026. Here's what's happening in space and science today. Euclid telescope has found the two oldest quasars known, their light crossing more than 13 billion years to reach us. NASA's Parker Solar Probe detected charged dust grains riding magnetic plasma waves inside the corona during close passes. The grains interact with waves that appear to transfer energy into the surrounding plasma. Wave amplitudes and grain sizes were recorded at multiple perihelia, allowing direct comparison with models of coronal heating. Researchers are modeling how the dust-wave coupling scales with distance from the Sun. Follow-up passes at lower altitudes will test whether the mechanism holds closer in. Parker Solar Probe measurements show charged dust grains being carried on magnetic plasma waves inside the Sun's corona. The interaction appears to channel energy into the surrounding plasma, offering one concrete pathway that could explain temperatures millions of degrees hotter than the visible surface. Wave amplitudes and grain sizes were recorded during the spacecraft's closest approaches, allowing direct comparison with models. Follow-up passes at even lower perihelia will test whether the same coupling persists closer to the Sun. If the Sun were scaled to the size of a basketball sitting in downtown Toronto, its corona would extend outward past the CN Tower yet remain almost completely invisible to the eye. Dust grains roughly a micrometer across somehow persist inside this million-degree plasma long enough to be observed by Parker Solar Probe. The grains are swept along by alpha waves whose magnetic tension acts like an invisible rail, shielding the particles from immediate vaporization. At 6.9 solar radii, the probe recorded wave speeds near 200 kilometers per second, while the grains themselves moved at a few tens of kilometers per second relative to the wave crests. The exact balance between radiative cooling, collisional heating, and magnetic confinement is still unknown. Models cannot yet predict how far inward the grains can travel before they are destroyed. From one probe revealing hidden solar processes, we turn to an object that arrived from an entirely different star system. Comet 3I/Atlas, the third confirmed interstellar object, shows unusual volatile ratios compared with solar system comets. Spectra from multiple NASA facilities reveal its composition and trajectory. Those measurements trace material from another star system formed during the universe's peak star formation era. Continued tracking will reveal how the object's surface evolves as it exits the inner solar system. Archival searches are underway for additional interstellar visitors. While one visitor from afar is studied, Earth itself hosted two close asteroid passes this weekend. Two separate asteroid flybys occurred over the weekend, each passing within a few lunar distances of Earth. Ground-based observatories tracked the objects using both radar and optical telescopes. The data refined their orbits and physical properties. The events highlight the growing catalog of near-Earth asteroids monitored for potential future encounters. Future campaigns will focus on similar passes expected later this year. From natural visitors, we shift to the rocket that sent dozens of human-made ones into orbit. A Falcon 9 lifted off from Vandenberg Space Force Base, carrying 81 small satellites into sun-synchronous orbit. Deployment lasted roughly 2.5 hours and included fire detection sensors, military technology demonstrators, and 3D printers. The first stage landed on a drone ship in the Pacific after separation. Several payloads remain unclaimed by public owners at this time. Follow-on missions in the Transporter series are already manifested. While SpaceX flew another rideshare, a German startup secured its first North American launch site. Izar Aerospace signed an agreement to develop a launch pad for its Spectrum rocket on Canadian territory. The deal is tied to a separate submarine contract between Canada and Germany. Spectrum is designed as a small lift vehicle for both commercial and government customers. Site preparation is expected to begin once regulatory approvals are complete. The facility would mark Izar's first North American operational base. From new launch infrastructure on the ground, we move to a satellite preparing for its own ride to geostationary orbit. The second Meteosat third-generation imager satellite, weighing 3,800 kilograms, is undergoing final checks ahead of an Ariane 6 flight. Once in orbit, it will deliver higher-resolution imagery and faster updates for European and North African forecasts. Its infrared channels will improve detection of rapidly developing storms. Journalists may apply by 16th July to attend the launch in French Guiana. Data validation will continue for several months after arrival on station. From forecasting Earth's weather, we look at long-duration tests for crews heading to the Moon and Mars. Applications are now open for crews willing to live inside a closed habitat for 12 months. The study will test medical monitoring, food systems, and psychological support protocols. Selected participants will simulate surface operations without leaving the facility. Results are intended to inform both Artemis lunar stays and eventual Mars missions. Deadlines and eligibility criteria are posted on the agency's human research website. While future crews train on the ground, one Canadian astronaut who already flew to the Moon is stepping away. Jeremy Hansen, who flew aboard Artemis II, is stepping down from active duty at the Canadian Space Agency. His departure follows a career that included training for lunar missions and public outreach across Canada. The agency has not yet named a replacement for his flight-assigned role. Hansen's experience will remain available through advisory positions. Future Canadian astronaut selections are expected later this decade. From one Canadian leaving orbit, we turn to simple naked-eye sights visible before dawn this week. The last quarter moon passes roughly 7 degrees north of Saturn in the early morning sky. Neptune lies nearby and can be spotted with binoculars under dark conditions. Observers are also encouraged to look for the Coma star cluster in the same region. The geometry changes quickly each morning as the moon continues its orbit. Charts and timing details appear in the magazine's weekly observing column. While planets and the moon offer easy targets, a distant galaxy shows intricate structure worth imaging. The barred spiral NGC 7098 lies about 100 million light-years away in octans. High-resolution imaging from Chile reveals a bright inner ring surrounded by a fainter outer ring and tightly wound spiral arms wrapped around the central bar. The structure is thought to result from dynamical resonances within the galaxy's disk. Amateur and professional observers continue to monitor the system for transient events. The image appears in the magazine's current Picture of the Day series. From one striking galaxy image, we move to a set of cosmic scenes colored red, white, and blue. 4 new composite views combine Chandra X-ray data with optical and infrared observations to produce red, white, and blue cosmic scenes. 3 of the images include sonified versions that translate X-ray brightness into audible tones. The release pairs with broader NASA efforts linking Apollo heritage to the Artemis program. Viewers can explore the full set on the Chandra mission site. Additional data products will appear in coming weeks. While telescopes capture striking views, astronauts aboard the ISS documented another kind of landmark. Astronauts captured nighttime images of several stadiums and urban areas preparing for the upcoming 2026 World Cup. The views from 250 miles up show city lights and infrastructure changes visible from orbit. The photo series continues a long tradition of documenting major sporting events from the station. Images are being released through NASA's Earth Observatory. Additional passes over host regions are planned through the summer. From Earth observation, we turn to experiments running right now inside the station. Expedition 74 crew members started experiments examining cartilage tissue engineering and cardiovascular responses in microgravity. The work uses specialized incubators and monitoring equipment already aboard the outpost. Parallel maintenance tasks on spacesuits and cargo transfers continued throughout the day. Data from these investigations will feed into long-term health protocols for future missions. Weekly science summaries are posted on the NASA Space Station blog. From current station science, we look at concepts that could change how crews move on the lunar or Martian surface. A University of Michigan team designed pressurized, actuated tunnels that would link habitats to rovers and science stations. The concept was submitted to NASA's 2026 Moon to Mars Academic Challenge. Once deployed, the tunnels would eliminate the need for repeated suit-up cycles during surface traverses. Prototypes are being tested in analog environments on Earth. The team will present further refinements at upcoming NASA workshops. From surface operations, we close with two small but telling cultural and manufacturing notes. Tiny carvings of legendary Indian researchers have been placed inside a needle's eye and will fly aboard the Vikram 1 rocket. The payload demonstrates precision manufacturing techniques suitable for future space artifacts. The launch is scheduled as part of India's growing small satellite manifest. Post-flight analysis will assess material durability in the space environment. Similar cultural payloads are under consideration for subsequent missions. Next time, we will be watching for new results from Parker Solar Probe's next close approach. That covers today's space and science news. Share this with a fellow space enthusiast if you found it interesting. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. See you tomorrow. And if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at NARA Network. Links in the show notes. And before you go, this show is part of the NARA Network, a family of daily podcasts on tech, science, and markets, each one a short, sharp briefing you can finish on the commute. If today earned its place in your feed, here's your next listen. Modern investing techniques, modern strategies for Canadian and US investors. Find every show free at naranetwork.com. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.
Drifting softly